the worst single day of destruction on the Outer Banks probably since the Halloween storm, the perfect storm of 1991. We've had 7 homes collapse. And if you're just joining us and saying, well, wasn't it just 6 and wasn't it just 5? We've had a 7th. We just had a 7th that fell around 8 o'clock this evening in the same neighborhood where we've been having all the problems. In Buxton, which is just north of the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, that we hadn't had any issues really as far as house collapses here in almost 30 years. But then over the last 5 years, the frontal dunes have been chewed away. And then it started Tuesday, and in 45 minutes, we had 5 houses go down. The biggest comments we say is, how did they let them build houses in the ocean? Well, these houses were nowhere near the ocean when they were built 30, 40, 50 years ago. There was 200 yards of dry sand beach. There was 8 to 12 foot tall dunes right up until about 5, 6 years ago. At least the dunes were there. And we've just seen rapid erosion in this spot. That's the area that's just seen this rapid amount of erosion over the last 5 years. And it's just gotten worse and worse. Hurricane Aaron really is what started this. And then, of course, the Humberto-Imelda combination have finished them off. Buxton, we'd be talking about a pretty serious overwash event along a good stretch of the Outer Banks out of this combination of weather systems that we got.
So those aren't going to get built back, right?
No. One thing about, and there's a lot of reasons why those houses, I mean, we could go into why they haven't been torn down, which is essentially insurance doesn't pay till the houses fall. This area of Buxton is really very dense. I mean, when I say dense, is in there's a lot of houses in a small area. There's really nothing available for them to be moved. And to move them back under North Carolina's Coastal Area Management Act, they'd have to be moved back a pretty sizable distance. They have to be moved back, and don't quote me on it, but it's like 200 yards from the high tide, the mean high tide line. There's nowhere to do that in Buxton. Rodanthy's a little different farther north on Hatteras Island. We've seen some people be able to move their houses back, but state law isn't going to allow that. Throw in the fact that they're technically in federal, there's a lot of questions here because the biggest landowner in Dare County, North Carolina, it's the Department of Interior. It's the National Park Service. This is Cape Hatteras National Seashore, the first national seashore in the country. The beach that was in front of them was part of Cape Hatteras National Seashore, but that beach is gone. So there's some of that jurisdictional mess to throw in. So no, these houses won't be rebuilt. All these properties are going to be beach, sand, really underwater until we get another beach nourishment project, hopefully by next year. Why the houses aren't moved, why they aren't torn down, why, what insurance does, what the government's role in this, the programs, the buyout programs that have been talked about have taken place. There's some it's very in-depth, and, we could do 2 hours on that alone, but, there's a lot of complicated issues and what's going on there in Buxton and in Rodanthy and really all along North Carolina's coastline, but especially on Hatteras Island, because the beaches are Cape Hatteras National Seashore and federal lands. We haven't heard from any of the property owners yet. Most of the times when these houses collapse, the property owners jump in. They get a debris contractor to come in and clear this out. Now, we're in a situation that it may not be safe for anybody to be close to all this debris. But this is the 7th house. I'm going to start losing count. This is the 7th house again to fall. This one fell about 8 o'clock tonight. Tower Circle, which is just north of the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. Where this one went down. So that's one of the photos, but I'll show you the debris here. This is the one that was last night. So this photo was taken this morning. This was the house that fell last night. I'm pretty sure that's the same house that fell tonight, the one that's behind it. You just see the immense amount of debris. 7 houses collapsing in 24 hours in one beach area has done. And one thing that Joy Chris from Island Free Press noted is that there's like a 2-foot cliff out there of sand, and all this debris is piled up against it. So we've had that onshore flow and the wave action, all this debris. So one thing that's been interesting is a lot of this debris has stayed right along the beachfront. That might actually be a good thing because it might at least keep things cleaned up. Something that I got asked today when I was on with Jim and Stephanie this morning on the Weather Channel was, where's this debris going? Usually when this stuff spreads out, it's about a 20-mile distance. So we've seen the houses collapse in Rodanthy. We've seen debris all the way down to where these houses are.